Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bald and Bonkers Show. Join your hosts Christopher Mole and Dakota Franson as they take you on a wild ride through the world of the supernatural, with a humorous twist that'll have you laughing and shaking in your boots at the same time. From ghosts to aliens to cryptids, no topic is off limits on this show. And the best part? You don't have to be a believer to join in on the fun. So grab a drink, kick back, and tune in every weekend for new episodes. And if you want even more of the Bald and Bonkers experience, be sure to subscribe to our Patreon page for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else. Let's get weird. Oh, and for the whiners out there, viewer discretion is advised. There you go, you entitled pricks.
Speaking of entitled pricks, what were you freaking out about?
You changed my name. You changed it, and I caught you in the act. I couldn't.
Considering you were being referred to as Ghost Squad Scotland for the last 3 weeks.
Scotland. I'm going to kid on an American tonight. Scotland. I'm from America.
No, Scotland. Scotland, as in shitland.
Oh, it could be like the United States with Joe Biden. Oh, who's the world's pishiest president? No.
Right.
No.
Most of us are agreeing.
You know what? But who do we have in tonight? There's 8 people watching us. We've got Bald and Bonkers Network, 6 Bald and Bonkers. I've had 2, and that's about. Violin out. I put my Ghost Squad Scotland onto subscribers only, and I was very surprised that people that I thought followed me weren't actually subscribed to me.
Ooh, they got busted.
They got busted. They got busted, and I don't know who you are.
Well, speaking of which, have you had any unauthorized intrusions lately? Because that seems to be happening a lot with you lately when you do your bit.
What do you mean?
You know, weird people trying to come in the StreamYard out of the blue.
I've said, wait, no, it's not happened again. It's not happened again. It's strange. Now I'm afraid that all the wankers out there couldn't get in. And I said it. No wanker.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that one.
He's in the chat. My brother's in the chat. I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to join us for another 6 months. Once every 6 months is enough for me.
Hey, that is how you treat your own brother.
But, no. I play with him in the Xbox. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I play with my brother on the Xbox. He plays GTA with me, and we drive about, and he tells me about his day and his hobbies, which is talking about motorbikes and Scott Oilers, like 24/7. You know. What?
Oh, that just sounded dirty.
What do you mean? Scott Oilers? What do you mean? It's the thing that moves your chain.
Oh, dear Lord.
Wait, do you not like your chains to be lubed?
What?
Do you not like your chains to be lubed? He's always going on about lubing his chain. He really is. He lubes it all the time. He's always going on about it. I think he's actually hiding something.
Ding, 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 ding.
You know, so how have you been, Dakota? What strange things because we weren't here last week. You were away getting your sex changed. Oh shit! I shouldn't have said that. Sorry about that, lady. Just shouldn't have told him about
that. And you're hey, I would make a beautiful woman. You're the one dressing up like Hitler.
Look, just because I put a sweetie, because I stuck a sweetie under my nose, right? I'll admit, I can't help it. What do you mean you make a beautiful woman? Well, is that Jesus Christ? What, was your boyfriend blind? But
I don't know what to do.
It's the new thing nowadays. You can identify as anything. There's people identifying as Adolf Hitler. There's people identifying as cats in classrooms and sleeping in the corner, and they've got their own litter tray. You can do anything you want now. You can identify as a turnip.
Well, I would want to identify as Elon Musk, but did you just see that article I sent you today?
About his cars blowing up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It was a Tesla Model Y A guy was out just running errands. All of a sudden, he notices smoke coming out from underneath the hood. Goes pull over, thinking that he's overheating it, nothing major. Then all of a sudden, his car catches fire.
Yep.
Firemen weren't able to save anything. Thank God he was alone. He managed to get out. Went to call Tesla customer service. And what did they bloody tell him? That they need to bring his flame-broiled, exploded car into the customer service station.
Elon, if you're watching this, you're a dick.
Elon, what the hell, man?
And if you want to do it, you have to hand first.
Why did your mic just cut out when that...
Elon! What do you mean?
Oh, God damn it, Elon!
Elon, look, did you see that video? Did you see the video of this is a while ago, and it was the rocket. It was one of his rockets. And in the video, there's a little mouse running about. Did you not see that?
Oh, I've seen that one.
I mean, that's where no mouse has gone before. I wonder what that mouse is now. It's probably just floating.
Probably charbroiled. Well, in theory, the mouse would actually survive just fine.
What, with the oxygen? What do you mean? It'll be frozen mouse. Just like that kind of frozen.
There's been plenty of cases where a mouse has been frozen and came back to life.
Aye, but that's the extremes. That's the extremes. You're kind of like you're in space.
Life finds a way, man.
I mean,
life finds a way, man.
I did listen to a scientist once. He was doing this talk, and when the last asteroid hit Earth, it kind of wiped out the dinosaurs. So they said, I actually put a lot of like organic matter into space, and it slowly come back down. That wee mouse is just floating around the Earth right now. It's probably just passing over the top of you, and now it's just going round, every 16 times a day or something. It's going round the Earth, and it's just floating there with its wee whiskers frozen. And but the radiation and all that would maybe.
You never know. Shit's been weird, man.
Hey, but how's it going to come back? Because if it goes back,
it would burn. Up. Likely. But hey, you also got to consider. They also say that in New York City, rats that are on the street are technically considered a completely different species from the rats that are in the subway systems.
Aye, because some of them are the size of a dog.
And no, not just because of that. They're physically changing. So evolution's getting weird, man. Weird shit's happening,
Did you see that? It was actually a tweet for Mike the Naked Bigfoot's son. His name's Pete, and he put it out. And scientists have made what's one in Lord of the Rings where he goes, it's Gollum in it, where he goes, my precious ring.
My precious.
Aye, that's right.
What the?
And this just shows you. This is what scientists have wasted their time on, is making what he would look like if he was real and he was human.
Probably look like some of my sisters.
Cancer, or save the planet, that's but instead they're trying to make a character that doesn't exist into a human.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I think we should do a charity for that mouse. We need to get NASA to go up there and save that mouse. Donate to Golden Bonkers tonight, guys, and we will send Dakota up, and he will go and save that mouse. Elon, if you're watching God. You need to go back for that mouse.
So what the fuck are we actually trying to talk about here tonight, man?
So what is the subject tonight?
We go into a lot of weird topics, and obviously we're going to have some competition, some people that try to challenge the way we think. Some guy went off because he didn't like how were bringing up, how things are going to get rough for a bit.
So what?
And I know, but here's the thing: conflict has to happen in order for things to get better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna try to improve a situation if you think all's hunky dory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot. I've been seeing a lot of foot traffic when it comes to a lot of these, new sort of new agey UFO groups that have been popping up, especially ones that are around. Especially some of the ones that bring up Elena and some of the people we've talked about on our show. Apparently, my name started to pop up ever since they found out that we're friends with Elena, and I did my little thing with Tony Rodrigues.
Should
It's
watch
just
that with you,
that was an interesting conversation. Once again, the theory of time travel fucking up Dakotas came up.
Yeah.
But
Back to the Future.
there's this film that I kept seeing clips on TikTok for, and I finally managed to look it up and watch it. It was called The Man from Earth. And if you don't know what that movie's about, it's essentially a gentleman who is a college professor getting ready to move because he claims that he is a Cro-Magnon man who's managed to survive all this time. He's at least almost 15,000 years old, at the very least.
No, seen this. This sounds really interesting. Do tell us more.
You can actually you can find it for free on YouTube.
I will watch that.
I do. It's actually a really well done movie. I haven't seen this sequel to it, but throughout this movie, they're just all sitting in his house as he's packing up. He's telling them all these stories, where he first came from, how he saw the world change, that how apparently he was actually Jesus at one point. And there, I don't know, it's just the dynamic in the group, because they were all college professors. They even called a psychiatrist in to try to evaluate the guy, because obviously the stories are out there.
I actually seen that. Iron Firehorse in the chat. I think
Yeah.
he's hello there, and also he's seen it too. I think I've actually seen a clip of that, and there was a clip where he was in this house and they were moving furniture, and they were all sitting and he was telling the story about who he was and how's he. But I never got the rest yet. How did he manage to live so long?
He's just well, the term that they would use nowadays is biological immortality. Is that essentially if he doesn't get really sick or real injured, he could essentially live forever, which is something that is actually very real. We have lobsters, jellyfish that have their own versions of biological immortality. Nobody's ever documented a lobster dying from old age.
That's because somebody usually eats them before this time.
No, if they're left alone and cared for. There's actually a cult out there that is trying to create this Leviathan-like monster by watching over lobsters, helping them shed their skin, because if nothing happens to them, they don't get sick, they can keep growing and keep getting older. But anyway, back to the movie. Basically, he says that he moves every 10 years before people really start to notice that he doesn't age because of whatever is going on with him. Now, in the second movie, they had to change it because the actual actor fucking aged.
Yeah, I suppose that's a bit of a bummer, that.
They didn't really have the budget for, good CGI effects like they do nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway. So, and he was wanting to tell them all these stories about who he actually was, because he wanted his friends to know the truth. And it goes into this debate. Some of them, they were kind of leaning towards, they were at least open to the idea. Some got so pissed off at the outrageous claims that they were threatening to throw him into a mental asylum. It actually got to the point where they essentially forced him to say he was lying the whole time, just so he didn't get locked up. Now they could have easily left the film there, kind of left it open ended. But as it turns out, The psychiatrist they brought in happened to be his son, who didn't have his condition. And obviously the guy freaked out. He was already kind of a mess because his wife had apparently died the day before pancreatic cancer. Now all of a sudden his dad just come back, and he realized his dad was a caveman. And he just knew so much. He got so overwhelmed by this situation, they kind of made it look like he had a heart attack and died. And I just don't know. When it comes to this film, that kind of brings up a lot of what we talk about when it comes to, you know, ghost encounters, maybe even trying to recall reincarnation, starseed deployments, whatever the situation may be, you know?
Look, I see a lot of this. Like, I mean, I see it all the time. They're all going on about the Galactic Federation, right? And for that, I always go to like Elena Denon. That's the only channel I really go to for that. I will say there is an awful lot new on TikTok saying that the moon's getting ready. I don't know if you've seen that. Everybody's saying that they're building biopods and they're coming to save us all.
Elena was the first one to. Elena was one of the first ones to bring that out.
But there's other people saying that we need to worship the Greys. I mean, have you seen that one where they're worshipping the Greys and stuff like that?
I was actually seeing fucking advertisements for some sort of conference that they were going to call in. They were trying to channel the Greys. It's a specific species that both Elena and Craig Campbell-Basso name as the Sasani, who are human Grey hybrids.
Yeah.
They are the hybrid species that was allegedly supposed to take over.
Here a question for you, because I will admit this to MD that's watching that's into UFOs, and that I've not watched anything UFOs for at least 2 weeks now. Just because I've been doing Ken Ghost stuff with the other channel and things. What do you think's happening? How long do you think it'll be before we start to see the first of all of this coming true?
Not long. We're already starting to see it. It's as simple as that. And I don't know if you noticed, my side would just faded out as I was talking about this.
Yep.
Like,
see, I've been hearing a lot of people saying that there's an energy change. There's an energy change happening, and right now, and people are awakening to the Galactic Federation of Light and stuff like that. I mean, there is a lot of folk out there talking a pile of utter pish, right? We should worship the Greys. The Greys are here to help us. They're going to save us. We don't want to go to the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation's bad and all that. There is a lot of that out there now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of misinformation out there right now.
And, you know, a lot of people are pointing out that I've been watching Elena's video that being Enki or Ea looks an awful lot like Snoke from Star Wars, the newer Star Wars movies. And, which, yeah, I can see the resemblance, but you also have to consider. Look at some old Disney cartoons and how fucking racist they were.
Oh yeah.
So Disney already has a bit of a track record for having some pretty nasty depictions of other races. So now there's a legitimate other race get ready to be involved.
I think, and this is for the people that don't want this to happen, because it's going to happen, we need change in this world before they can actually come and help us. We need the financial system to collapse. We need war, and that's what's going to happen. War is coming, ladies and gentlemen. War is coming. We're in World War III right now. I'm not saying it's got to go nuclear, because I don't think our little green friends, I just call them that, they're not actually green, would actually, well, I mean, a couple, but anyway,
there's a couple.
I don't think they would allow it to happen, but I think there'll be a conventional war with America, China. I think there'll be a conventional war with America, Russia. Everything will explode. I think we're on the point of where the digital currency is going to happen. It's going to happen. And there's nothing we can do to stop it now. It can't be stopped. It can't be. I mean, did you see that? Did you see the video about the African in South Africa? Did you see that with all the money?
What one are you
Did you
talking
see it?
about? No, I don't think I have.
They can't in South Africa. They can't get any paper money, right? And they're rolling in the CBDC, the digital currency thing, and they cannot get any paper currency. But the guy went to the landfill site, and there was a mountains upon mountains and bags upon bags is African money, but it had been pulped. It had been basically shredded. I couldn't help myself. I had to put a comment saying a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of sellotape, and you could become a millionaire. It's true though. I mean, there was piles and piles and piles of money everywhere that had been completely shredded, right? And they're like, oh, but we can't get any more money. We can't get money. No, what they're doing is they're taking the money off the people, and they're destroying it. So as you have to get the digital currency.
They are. It's actually being seen across food supply chains as well as water as well. That they are trying to artificially instigate, and that's probably not the best word for it, supply and demand. They're trying to kill off as much of the supply, make it minimal as possible, so they can charge it, but then they're going to affect the financial systems to where people can't really get their paychecks.
Did you see
and they're saying people have, I'm just going to say this, people are complaining about people wanting to be lazy ever since COVID restrictions fully let up. Yeah. That's going to make it worse, because I ain't going to go to my day job if I'm not getting a paycheck.
You see what happened? You see what's happening to Dutch farmers right now?
Right.
The government's taking over all the farms, and they're not giving them the money for the farms. They're basically just kicking the farmers out, right?
Right.
Saying you're not getting any money. They're homeless, right? They're taking all their vehicles, everything off them, right? Their government's doing this, all in the aid of climate change. But you know what else they're doing? Every farm that's allowed to keep their animals, they're only allowed 2 cows. So out of a farm that keeps maybe 400 cows, they're only allowed 2.
Yeah.
That, as you say, that it's like supply and demand. You go to the supermarket now, 3-4 years ago, you went to the supermarket and it was packed with stuff, right? I've noticed, I was at the supermarket today actually, and a couple of other days, things are getting harder and harder and harder to source. Aye. And that's what it's all about. And what's the Klaus Schwab, Mr. Klaus Schwab? What a stupid name that is. And if you're watching this, you're an idiot. He wants to bring in, is it Agenda 2025, is it called? Where he wants, what is it, every human's using per year something like 6 tons or something of CO2, but he's wanting to cut it down to basically nothing. So basically, you're allowed a bowl of rice a day. That's that.
Right? I can understand that like we said before, there is going to need to be a complete and total overhaul about how we do things. And the reason why that's why I named this episode "The Man from Earth." It's because the people are going to freak out. Some are going to warm up to the idea, but still, in many ways, yes, there needs to be some major cutbacks when climate change is involved, because even though the planet does have natural cycles, the activity of life on a world affects the world itself. That's well known. Yeah. We are aggravating the situation, and there's a lot of cases where they say, like, cow farms. Too many of those in a certain spot can actually affect weather patterns because of the methane.
I'm going to blow your mind. I watched something today, and I'm going to blow your mind. Canada, right, is bringing in a new pollution thing in the next couple of weeks, right? And it's basically saying about their CO2. There's this climate change, and they're having to pay for it. See, Canada's mostly covered in trees. Each tree absorbs a certain amount of carbon, a certain amount of carbon dioxide. No carbon, sorry. Would you call it carbon dioxide, right? They've actually, there was a guy worked it out for all the trees in Canada. Canada is absorbing 14 times the amount that the United States is absorbing, right? Because of all the trees, right? So in theory, they shouldn't need to pay any carbon tax because their trees are basically giving them fresh air. They're sucking it in and giving them fresh air, right? Yeah. So what's all this about? I'm telling you, there's. I don't. Right, I'm going to say this out loud, and I don't care if you hunt me down. And right, it's, global warming isn't happening, right? Yes, the planet is warming up, but it's cycles. It's always happened. Look, if you go back, say 100,000 years ago, Antarctica was a subtropical climate, right? America was a barren, cold, covered snowland. Britain was a subtropical climate, right? It's changing. It's natural. Look, they're saying that the world's warming up, right? And this is what I don't get. If the world's warming up, why is Mars warming up too? Is it us? It's polluting.
Well,
Mars?
Here's the thing. NASA has actually come out and said that there's several spots throughout the solar system that have unusual spikes in temperature happening right now, and they allegedly have no clue what's causing it.
Yeah.
Now, this kind of goes into the UFO circuit, where you have people like Dr. Michael Salla and Elena Denon saying that arcs are starting to activate, and militaries are actively working to try to figure out who's supposed to pilot those things and see what happens when all those machines turn on at once.
See, this is what I don't get, right? What is the purpose of the arcs? They've got stuff in it that can cure ailments, and yes, they've got technology in it. Do you think that there's maybe another race on its way here that will fly them for us, will control everything?
Then why is it our blood that's activating it?
Because maybe the people that built us, made us, were the ones that made them.
You know, allegedly, some of the arcs that have been found, I believe there was a couple named out of Antarctica, of course, where they said that bodies were found in these essentially cryotubes. And they found out somehow that these bodies were meant for the cloning process, to transfer a consciousness into a new body should something happen to it. Something that, my understanding, organ transplants were the infant stage of when it comes to it. And, you know, I got to thinking of something else as you were talking about the trees. Well, it was like over 10 years ago. There was talk about this startup company who managed to create artificial trees, right? That had almost, I believe it was like 40 times the conversion rate of normal trees. Whatever happened to that?
Oh, it's probably buried somewhere.
Exactly.
And so,
anything that's truly revolutionary gets suppressed.
Yeah. Have you heard the one about the oil?
Oh, that just sounds like the setup to a bad joke.
Have you heard the one about petroleum, oil? That it's actually a never-ending, never running out resource. There's actually talk out there where, and I was watching a video on this, and it's very interesting that a lot of oil companies will go to a spot, right, with their oil rig, right, and they'll take the oil out the ground, right, and then they'll be like, oh, we can't get any more there, so we move away, right, but then 10 years later, they move back to the same spot and then start pumping it again, right? There's actually a theory out there, right, that oil gets made in the earth, and it's constantly, it'll never run out. But the power, and it's the same with water, obviously, it's plentiful supply. There's theory out there that there's these people, well, they're not really people, we know who they are, right? And they came here a long time ago, right, to control us. And they control water, they control oil, what's that? I was thinking about, They control the water, they control the oil, they control everything, right? And this is them that want to control us. What happens if we, just listen to this, what happens if we say, I don't know, 100,000 years ago, humans were brought here for a reason? What happens if we were brought here to build a certain civilization? We were genetically made to build a civilization. Then whoever made us buggered off, right? And knew they're coming back, and that's why we activate that stuff, because we used to use it with them.
Yeah, you're talking about the theory that Anunnaki made us as a slave race and all that.
No. I'm talking about maybe because they say there was different civilizations, right? They say there's 3 civilizations, right? They say there was different civilizations. So what happens if we were an intelligent race, right? Something terrible happened, right? And we had to flee, and there was some humans left, right? And we are the descendants of those humans. Maybe some is, well, right, that's it, we have to evacuate the Earth, so we all left the Earth, right? But no others. And some of them are the descendants of the ones that come back now. You see where I'm going with this?
I see.
Like, let's say for the Palladians, for instance, they look human, right? I said they're a wee bit taller, they're blonde, and they're good looking, right? Now, what happens if we are descendants of them? A long time ago, we stood beside them, we worked with them, we built ships that traveled the universe, we done all this kind of stuff, but something happened on this planet, right? The planet was evacuated, but it wasn't completely evacuated, if you get my meaning here, right? And throughout time, we've obviously you understand where I'm going with this?
Well, there's a lot that talks about Atlantis that does kind of fall into the same area where it's not that people were intentionally left behind, it's just that they couldn't get to the evacuation in time, but they managed to survive.
But here's another theory. What happens if there's as an inner Earth? And this
There's also that.
Yep, the inner Earth, and I heard a lady talking about this, the inner Earth. What happens if somebody has fled there, right? And after whatever happened, somebody has come back onto the surface again, right? And then they left us, whoever they were, the technological advanced beings underneath it, probably look exactly like us, right? But they're just more advanced.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just like the ancestors. Right? You take a world, and then devastate it with like a nuclear war, right? And say there's only like maybe 10,000 people left, right? Give it 100,000 years, give it 20,000 years, they'll rebuild civilization again, right? Meanwhile, the people underneath us, they'll be watching us, thinking, "Oh God, what are they up to now?" That kind of thing. You see where I'm going with this? I think there's been different civilizations in this world. That's the honest truth. I think we're the 4th civilization. And again, the way things are going now, if it doesn't work out, there might be a 5th civilization, a 6th civilization, until we get it right. I honestly do think that.
Well, here's the thing. Each one of these cycles, as we'll put it, that's something that's been talked about, since like the ancient Mayan and all that. Those descendants are still carry the genetic factor, and unfortunately, in a lot of those cases, as any parent with children and may have realized now, and believe me, I've learned some interesting things about him that hopefully he doesn't procreate.
What do you mean? Do you want to show you? I just went back off this world, to be purely honest with you. I mean, I think there's a certain bloodline, right? I think there's 2 different bloodlines. I think there's the ones that's always controlled us, right? And I don't think that they're human. I don't think they've never been human. I think there's something else, right? And then I think there's people like us that have got weird blood, strange blood. And I think we were meant for something more. And then I think there's other humans that are just run-of-the-mill humans. Right? They're just run-of-the-mill humans. They do their thing. They do what they do. They don't do anything special. but then you get the ones with the different blood, like you, Dakota. Which is maybe that's how they use to come back again. Maybe they can only, like, you talk about reincarnation and stuff, right? Again, we're talking tomorrow about the reincarnation, aren't we? But are we not talking about reincarnation tomorrow? About life and out of body and stuff like that? I thought that was the show.
We can go into it.
What happens if the extraterrestrials, I'll just say the Galactic Federation, right, can only send their operatives, to bodies with that blood type?
Yeah.
No.
There has to be some sort of match. That's already been proven. Otherwise, the soul won't take.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, whatever happened long ago, there was only a few of that bloodline mixed in with the other people, right? The other people were just like normal sheep, right? Well, say for instance, you were there 100,000 years ago before the disaster, whatever happened, and you didn't make it to the ship. Say there was maybe 5,000 of you, and then if this what happened, there was maybe 2,000 of you survived. It would take a while for you to multiply again, wouldn't it?
Aye.
That type of bloodline. So what happens if that is the key? That is the bloodline is the key to working on this technology.
That's actually what they were already saying, is that only certain bloodlines can activate these things, and your sister's a reptilian.
I just read that there.
Yeah.
I've met a few folk that I think are reptilians, to be honest with you.
Yeah, careful. There's already been enough people that are committing murders because they think the people they killed were actually reptilian. Yeah, some guy used a fucking harpoon gun on his wife and 2 children.
I will say this, right? The reptilians, I do believe there is obviously races reptilian there, but I would say, see the people that run this world, the ones in charge, the ones that are running everything right now. I wouldn't say they were reptilian, but they are something else. They're something older, and they're something primitive, and they've always been here. And they don't like us, but they like the power associated with what they're doing. That's why we kind of transcend into the next level, because these people are holding us back.
Allegedly, the situation is the reptilians, they didn't necessarily originate here. Mm-hmm. They just found the planet first. So they thought finders keepers, and that's why they're not a big fan of us.
Exactly.
But then again, every method of trying to understand human origin, the origin of the human race, has some sort of interbreeding. Either alien races mixing in their blood with the bloodlines of whatever was found here. There's start Adam and Eve, where people don't really pay attention that's a huge incest line, even though it says that there were other people at the time with Adam and Eve that weren't necessarily related to them. But still, and even in mainstream science, where we go to the time of like caveman, Cro-Magnon man, or modern humans, just about every human today is a mix, has some sort of caveman DNA in them. The indigenous Australian Aborigines, they have DNA strands of some sort of humanoid that hasn't been identified yet. Mm-hmm. It's been mixing for quite some time, and it makes you wonder. You have the stories of like the alleged Grey that survived the Roswell crash, saying that this world was essentially a giant natural reserve / prison planet.
See, I find that interesting. I mean, you have the Galactic Federation that say they're here to help us and all that, and try and steer us into the light and make us technology so as we can travel the stars and all that, right? But at the same time, you have like aliens that are coming and saying we're basically a zoo. So who do you believe?
You better be careful. There's some shady parties that are trying to push that very narrative just to get some fighting going.
What do you mean?
I noticed a lot of people, and conveniently, I will say these are some Telegram chat groups that I'm in.
Yeah.
I've noticed that there's been a lot of faceless profiles that seem to be purposely stirring shit up.
Yeah.
Just full on, as the kids would call them, Karen mode.
Yes.
And I find it funny that a lot of these profiles have started to pop up right around the same time the CIA announced that they've officially started using Telegram.
Look, the
Allegedly
CIA...
to deal with the situation involving Russia. However, where have I heard that line before? Cold War.
Know, I was actually having this discussion with somebody that was a UFO subject. I was talking to them about. Do you know that there's not been a sighting there for a long time? A man in black. For some
I
reason,
know.
there's
I know.
been no sightings.
I know. I've noticed.
Yeah. There's been no sightings whatsoever in men in black. And there used to be quite a lot. And black-eyed kids, they've disappeared off the face of the earth or no?
Uh-huh. I mean, some of the most recent reports of anything in that area before 2010, it's just somewhere around that time frame, bloop, they started disappearing.
They started disappearing. Is that the fact that we were getting rid of as Elena says it, we were getting rid of the bad ones for this earth, and that's who controlled them?
Allegedly, the Men in Black were, or at least the more ET ones, the freaky, all pale, very sleek skin. They look like they're wearing somebody else's skin type that are tied around their frame. They were some sort of draconian hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was obviously human ones that have come out and said that yes, these things exist. Yes, we've killed people to make sure this information didn't get out.
Yeah. I've also noticed with the black-eyed kids have just disappeared off the face of the earth. There have been no reports. I watch a lot like Coast to Coast AM and stuff like that. He was going about the black-eyed kids. And they had a guy, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, and it was like, there's been no reports of the black-eyed children this year. None at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as if they've just went, poof, they've just disappeared. Was that the Greys that was controlling them?
Or were they
I
Greys?
knew they've been chased, or Greys or whoever they were, have been chased away, have been chased off of this planet.
No, I mean, the black-eyed kids, what if they were some sort of hybrid?
Is that something in your room?
Yeah.
I was going to say, for a sec there, I thought it was the Men in Black. They're coming for me. No!
I was about to say, okay, what did you see exactly?
No, I just heard. Something.
Yeah. The door's not shut all the way, so you don't hear the cats start freaking out.
See, there you go. I thought they were coming for him, ladies and gentlemen. I thought the Men in Black were coming back for Dakota. We've got to drag him away, clawing at his leather chair,
Please send Will Smith.
I don't know, you better watch out. He may come up and slap you in the face.
That'd be a story, huh?
Aye, I know. I find it very odd that the Men in Black and the black-eyed children have just disappeared off the face of the earth. There's something going on.
Ironically, it does kind of coincide with Elena's reports that the Greys are out. Yes, there's people here that are channeling them that are still giving them the permission they need to come down, but they're officially out.
No.
Yeah, Will Smith needs a slap. Yeah, that's called. He's married to his slap.
I've just noticed lately. Do you find it kind of strange, like Hollywood and all that started to collapse when all this was happening too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's happening with that island, that specific island? Is it Jeffrey?
Epstein's Island,
How that just went
Pleasure Island.
pear shaped when all this started happening too, because it makes you wonder what was going on.
No, see, it was John McCain's wife. He ran for president years ago. She fully admitted that just about everybody who was associated with
Look at the chat.
that point. Oh, I see. There's a ghost.
There's a ghost. It's good to see you, Pete. And black-eyed children are still around.
Yeah, but they still linger because they're technically human, but they haven't really been popping up as much as they used to.
See, I find it fascinating how certain things, because you notice, right? It's no that last year when all this started happening with Elena, when she was telling us about how the evil ones are all like collapsing and they're trying to flee the planet and that, Hollywood went to shit, right? Come on, think about it.
I know.
The pandemic was great for the Hollywood because they were making movies and stuff like that, and they were trying. I know they weren't making all of them, but it just seemed to go odd. And I've noticed a lot of like weird things.
I mean, now we speaking of Hollywood, we have yet another major writer strike going on right now.
Yeah.
I notice that's not really getting a lot of coverage outside of certain celebrities posting on their Instagrams.
There's a lot of stuff happening all over the world right now that people are not seeing. The mainstream media doesn't report on it. I find interesting, and maybe Pete, there, because he's a farmer, obviously, he'll notice about this too, is the lack of produce. The lack of produce. And then there was last year that the fertilizer was running out because of the war, obviously, in Ukraine, where all that's getting made.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I've noticed the shelves are getting barer and barer and barer, and it's like I said, the Dutch farmers, the Dutch state have taken all the farmers' ground and livestock off of them, and any farmers that are left, they're only allowed to keep 2 cows.
Mm-hmm.
It's as if, by design, someone wants the system to collapse completely.
Because again, like we said, if things are going to get better, because of how deep-rooted a lot of this shit's going on, I mean, people on the inside who benefited from, say like the dark web and all of these processes, they may not even realize how deep this shit goes.
Yeah.
And you're talking like, oh, conspiracy theories. It's the 2020s, man. What conspiracy theory hasn't proven true?
Yeah. It's interesting what Pete says there about Dad saw them more parallel. See, that is interesting. The Arcade Kids, because obviously I watched a little like Coast to Coast AM and all that. And your dad, Pete, would tell me about the Black Eyed Kids, and I always wondered what they were. There was just something about them. They had one mission. They wanted into your house. And after you granted them, they would just disappear, which I find very, very odd.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's Pete saying there that it's very hard to get fertilizer this year. Yeah, it's like they want the system to collapse. They want people to be starving on the streets. They don't want people to have cattle because they say it's polluting the atmosphere with this, what you call it, the methane and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be further from the truth. I mean, look, if you go back a couple of years ago, and people used to say, "Oh, they're chemtrails, right? They're spraying the skies. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. It's no happening." They've admitted to it. They're spraying the what you call it, the sky with aluminum. I'm using the American term here because I don't want to start aluminium.
Yeah,
the aluminum particles in the atmosphere and stuff. And they've admitted to it, and it's falling everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's falling on the ground. The grass goes. The cow comes along, eats the grass. It's going into the cow. You're buying the milk.
You're buying the milk. You're buying the steak. Exactly.
See, this is what I don't get, right? This is what I don't get. If they were trying to hide something for us, like a different planet that was coming into view, you would still see it, right? And I know there's a lot of people out there that put videos out saying, "Oh, look, it's planet Nuremberg. It's coming, it's coming." And it's a lens flare on their camera, right? There's something else at hand here. There's something else at play here. It's as if they want to depopulate us.
An uneducated and sick population is a lot easier controlled than an intelligent and healthy one.
Yeah.
If we were all intelligent and healthy, you would be amazed at the things that could happen.
Actually,
here's the thing: they label intelligence as a disorder these days.
Yeah.
Also known as autism.
Yeah. It's like we go back to the meat and the farms and stuff like that. I've noticed, right? See if you buy like meat for like a big store, like a supermarket, right? And you read the back of it, you can tell the cows had loads of like antibiotics and it's had all these weird things and it doesn't taste right. But as if you go to like maybe a farmer's market, which I do, I go to farmer's markets, the meat tastes totally different, even though it's from the same place, which is strange. You ever noticed that?
I've noticed.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
And I see now they're wanting... Oh, sorry, when you go?
No, I was just going to say, you can taste the difference. I mean, I noticed it when I've been lucky enough to travel to other countries, and you can taste the difference in that, like, say, out of 400 chemicals that the U.S. is allowed to put in food, everywhere else in the world only allows 4.
Yeah.
You can taste the difference. You can taste that it's healthier.
I've noticed. My mum's always buying like vegetables and stuff like that for the local supermarket and stuff like that. And I had carrots the other day. The carrots tasted weird. They just you washed them and peeled them and all that, but they tasted weird. They had this weird kind of twangy taste to them. And I went. They all come in plastic bags, which I despise. I don't know why folk can't just put them in paper bags anymore when you get something right. And I noticed they'd been sprayed with certain chemicals, right?
Aye.
Whereas if you go to like a free range kind of market or like an organic kind of market, they're obviously not going to spray them with that kind of stuff. What's that, Pete? We are raised and slaughter our own meat. It's amazing. I bet it is.
Yeah.
I bet you it is. And have you heard the latest that they're wanting to do this? Our glorious leaders. They're wanting to inject cattle, animals, sheep, everything like that with the vaccine. So when you eat the meat, you're getting vaccinated.
Yep.
Pete, your dad who used to talk about his famous, what was it? Was it goat? What was it? Some type of thing made out of goat? And he used to talk about it.
We
what
should.
Was that?
I'm hating you so much right now. I'm getting so
that?
hungry.
Mindy came on that night, and we were talking, and he was going on about how he had help us out, Pete. What was that your dad used to make? It, your mum made it, and you absolutely loved it, and it was made out of goat. And he was telling us all to try it. And I can't find anybody that sells goat round about me. And it's meant to be awfully good.
Goat testicle soup.
Oh, a couple of balls there for you.
Hey, I don't judge.
Oh God, I just don't know. But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, let's say for Pete, for instance, how they own a farm and that, and they sell their own stuff and that. He's lucky that way. But you think about the people that live in cities and stuff like that are going to Walmart, these big places, and they're buying meat that's frozen. God knows what's inside it. God knows what crazy chemicals are inside that. It's like I'm surrounded by farms. I can remember when I was young, we used to get the milk straight from the farm. I'm making you hungry, aren't I? And the
Yes,
milk
you are.
the milk just tasted different, right? Totally, absolutely different. See now, it's I don't know. It's got as if there's got that kind of bleachy kind of weirdness about it. It was actually quite funny. A friend of mine, he was going on about when he was a little boy, and this would be in the 1960s, and his mum and dad owned a farm, and he was saying that the cows at the back would eat the mint at the back of the house. They would kind of get mint, and then when they got the milk for the cows, it was minty.
Everything that goes into the animal goes into its milk.
Yeah, I will say this. I've seen some cows eating some strange things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they'll eat anything.
Right.
Aye.
They will.
Oh, aye. Very nosy too, but I just the way the world's gone, guys and girls, I don't know what it'll be like. I mean, I'll be 42 this year. He's the youngest. I don't know how. What age are you? 26, 27. You're 27, aren't you?
Aye.
Keep forgetting, right? I mean, you think about it, it's got to be like when I'm 60. Can you imagine? I bet you by the time I'm 50, we'll have a digital currency. Farmers will not be allowed to keep a certain amount of livestock. You'll know exactly what you buy. And I mean exactly. Cash, you can buy things and people don't know what you're buying. So there you go, Dakota. You'll need to stop buying your special things, You have to the CBD currency, they'll know what you're up to, But it's true. It's true. Get what I mean? And it's coming. It's going to come to a point where you'll not be able to run your car, and it will happen. And there'll be a digital currency, and we're just basically getting turned into slaves again. So there you go.
Unfortunately, the whole digital currency thing is something that's being pushed by both sides to essentially replace the financial system with one that's, well, the term they use is credit, but it's still a relative trade. I mean, when you go to talk with, say, like the Federation, there is no currency exchange when it comes to buying goods within Federation jurisdiction. Anybody who is associated with officers can earn credits for when they need to get things outside of Federation regulations.
See, that's I always wondered, what is money to the Galactic Federation? What is money to them? What did they have it in like a rare type of metal or something like that, or how did they actually? What is their money? What did they buy it?
It's digital. It's digital.
So what did they actually buy it? Did they not come to a society where everything's free?
As I just said, everything that cooperates with the Federation, that's within their regulations, it's more or less free. You can just go in and buy it, which is a good thing, because some of the notorious ETs, say like Valthor, his wife Jillian is apparently a bit of a shopaholic.
Goat soup. I'm sure it was goat soup that Mike had.
Yeah, it's Mike. The goat testicle soup isn't out of the question.
I've heard goat meat is meant to be absolutely fantastic.
You would love Rocky Mountain oysters.
What is that? The things that stay in the what's Rocky Mountain oysters? What's
bull testicles.
Nah, but chewy.
Hey, what you do with those cows in your spare time? I don't know. How do you control those cows with Jessie around, man?
She's actually.
She help wrangle them?
She runs away. She's a sheepdog. She does her own kind of thing. Game of sheepdogs do. They just run away into the bushes and run about and chase nets. She's got a thing about squirrels. She likes chasing squirrels.
Okay.
But what you're going to have to eat tonight, Dakota? What's tasty selection?
I was thinking some big old potato nachos.
Oh, I think you should do. I think you should go to a steak joint and get yourself the old 49 ouncer, a big, juicy steak. See, I like my steak, right? I don't like my steak well done. I like cutting into the meat, right, and just nice and pink in the middle with a wee bit of the juices coming out.
Yeah, I prefer, just above well done.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Where it's cooked, but you're not having to tear at it like a rabid animal just to bite off a piece.
So the show tomorrow night, Dakota. What's happening tomorrow night?
Well, I think we should continue this conversation and call out some of the spiritual community BS.
Yeah, because there's too much shit out there. I mean, we should maybe talk about like genetically modified products too, like food especially.
Oh yeah, I mean, think about it. Some of your absolute favorites, bananas, have frog DNA laced in them just to help with transport.
Really? I love a banana.
I know.
Remember that picture I sent you?
I know. I still got it.
I was inspired. It was Mike the Naked Bigfoot. Pete, it was your dad. I don't know if you've seen the picture that your dad put in Twitter. Eating a banana. I was inspired. Mike inspired me to have that banana. I was inspired with
that picture is actually hiding in the background.
Where?
Towards the wrist. Towards the wrist.
Wrist? Wrist? What do you mean wrist?
Oh, I'm talking about this. And now he's going to be staring at it for the rest of the time.
See that big banana there? I do.
You also didn't realize I had your little headline listed as Ghost Squad Scatland. Scatman John over here.
I can remember that. I'm old enough to remember the 80s.
Hey, it's a catchy song.
Right. And them dates in the chat, Iron Firehorse, of that. You need to check out Mike the Naked Bigfoot's channel, Pete's dad's channel. I was watching it last night, and I found it absolutely fascinating. It really was. See the tales that Mike. You see the knowledge, the knowledge.
Don't watch it alone in the dark.
In fact, watch it alone in the dark. You'll get the real.
See what happens.
You might get a visitation. You never know. But honestly, guys, remember, check it out. Give me a subscribe. But it's been absolutely fantastic, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Dakota's got to go and get a big plate of nachos now, and he's just got to sit
hold. Don't you be signing off the show yet, young man. You old fart.
That's terrible the way that's that. The spirits.
We had an announcement here today, Christopher.
You finding your hair transplant?
Yeah. Going for long, luscious blonde locks. I'm gonna go all the way past my shoulders.
With his aid.
But no. This is actually something for you to pay attention to, since you may have landed us our first client. So, as some of you who've been watching us for a while, actually I was talking to her before the show. Sounds like she may go for it. Some of you may actually know that we have services to help distribute books and music. Well, the announcement is that now our book distribution comes for free.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. If you want to publish any books, it's free of charge.
Yeah, we do have a submission process, which this link will take you to. There's a little form, standard stuff, basically for us to look over it, and if we decide we'd like it, we'll help you get published at no cost to you.
Exactly. I will say this. October, I'll just go about October. Our poems are awesome. Did you listen to the poems that I sent you?
I did.
Yeah.
And she was going into detail earlier, and she found me through Facebook, and we'll It sounds like we're going to have our first author, aside from myself, which is a good thing. And like I said, completely free if, you get selected.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to write a book or you want to publish a book, come to Bald and Bonkers, and it's absolutely, completely, and utter free.
Yeah. So just make it
any
on
other
that
names?
next time you try to pit me out.
None
yet.
I'm pimping out the company.
Yeah. It's about damn time.
I know.
It's about damn time. My co-founder over here thinks that just because he's landed all the legal shit on me, he don't have to do anything to fucking help promote the shit.
What do you mean? I like to bring happiness to people. Done it for a lot of people. See, this is what's happening when I finally pass when I'm 190. And I get to the top of the pearly gates will open in front of me, and they'll be there, I'll be standing there, God will be standing there, or whatever his name is, or whoever it is in chairs, and his big robe.
Me and Muzz will just be standing there with sniper rifles ready to go.
Christopher, I would just like to say that you are the greatest that has ever lived on earth. You do a good spell for somebody, you do a good spell for someone, I like to help folks
well, of course.
it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, well, of course. Especially with everything that's going on, no matter how crazy. Oh wow. We take email. Yeah, I don't think our office is equipped for hard copy manuscripts.
There's no like a scroll they had in medieval times, is it? And on the third day there was a man. He stood upon the rocks, the seas, and then it just kept going. You just keep opening it. Dead Sea Scrolls. It could be an Aramaic.
I guess that would be kind of cool, to be honest. But maybe in the future. You never know.
You don't see any more scrolls.
Well, everybody thinks that the most romantic thing to do nowadays is sending dick pics on Snapchat. Hey, I don't do that. What are you trying to do sign like that for?
Ladies and gentlemen, you have now found Dakota's hobby. If anyone's listening to this and would like to send their pictures, please send them to Bald and Bonkers. You will find an email there. Dakota loves all types of pictures, large, small, in between. He's right into it. And honestly, please send those pictures to my co-host. And
oh God. I have written scrolls years ago. How old are you? Oh, that's a dangerous question to ask these days. But hey, people are identifying as Hitler. But nevertheless, it is getting to be about time that we take off, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what?
Goodbye, ladies and
we
gentlemen.
hope you enjoyed this episode. And no matter how crazy things get, spread love, spread kindness. You may end up saving someone's life.
Yes.
So
everybody in the
I
chat,
think that's all we have for today.
I would just like to thank everybody in the chat for coming, especially Mike's son Pete. Thank you very much for coming on, and thank you Iron Fire Horse and everybody that's there. Thank you so much. Old as dirt.
All these people all these people lurking in the chat but not talking. Come on, it's a lot more fun when the audience jumps in.
That's just their fans. They're taking pictures of new chick. Right, how do you send this? baldenbonkers.net.
Send it to Chris's Twitter.
No, honestly, you don't want to send it to Twitter. Remember Mike made that mistake. Remember, and he was telling us he made that Mike the Naked Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know, and I'm probably gonna get tit pictures on Twitter, I don't know why they keep coming. I don't know these women.
Listen,
why am I complaining?
Ladies out there, if you want to send pictures of your breasts to Dakota, please
do.
Remember,
Dear Jesus.
He absolutely loves any type of picture.
Oh, dear Jesus.
He's right into it.
Thanks for tuning into the Bald and Bonkers Show. If you enjoyed the show and want to show your support, head over to our website at baldenbonkers.net. There, you'll find our merch, services, and more. Thanks for being part of the Bald and Bonkers family, and we'll see you on the next episode. And remember, always keep an open mind and an open heart. You never